12 hours of racing, oil spills, freewheels, a day in the life of a Marshal. Usually, as part of the Caterham Academy, you're encouraged to marshal for a day, and in return you're rewarded with championship points. Unfortunately, due to COVID restrictions, this wasn't possible in 2020. I was disappointed that I was unable to experience racing from the perspective of a Marshal. However, the good news is that Bark have been able to make this happen for me in 2021 due to the current COVID restrictions, following guidelines and taking appropriate measures to keep safe. I supported the Orange Army at the Caterham Graduates Racing Club meeting at Snetterton. So let's join me at the circuit and find out what it's like to be a Marshal for the day. Okay, so I am off to my post 16, just at the end of the Bentley Straight as you move into the complex. And I've got my packed lunch. I've been informed that if I'm lucky we'll have 15 minutes or so at lunch. So packed lunch in the hut as well. And it's time to remember that these Marshals, they're all here, they're volunteers. They do this for the love of motorsport and for people like me so that we can go racing. So it's really worth bearing in mind. And the Caterham graduates do what they can. They support the Marshals Fund as well. Marshals arrive at the circuit around 7:30 to sign on, collect their packed lunch and head off to their designated post or position for the day. The preparation begins. Flags are unrolled from their storage bags and positioned. Control then contacts each post by two-way radio to check that each radio is functioning correctly. This also happens after lunch.
Control post 16 over.
Post 16 receiving you loud and clear.
Finally, before racing can commence, the clerk of the course completes a personal inspection of the whole circuit to check everything is as it should be. Marshals wave the yellow flag from every post. Emergency and recovery vehicles signal their locations by illuminating their beacons. I was wearing my camera on a chest mount, so I was fully focused on the race and had both hands free at all times when cars were on track. Let's head back to post 16 and join the action for the first of the Caterham races. Yeah, there's certainly something on. Just watched the first of the Caterham races, the 150s. And there must have been a drop of oil just at the end of the Bentley Straight. Huge speed as you carry it into the Brundon Nelson complex. Whatever, it gone down, and then a bunch of cars come through, all hit the oil. Nothing they could do, just either spinning or heading straight with no opportunity to turn. And you know, classic Caterham, there's wings and stuff everywhere. Everybody is okay, I'm informed, but a really horrible thing to sit back and just witness happen in front of you. So I was able to get to do some work and dressed up the surface with cement dust, and a lot of it as well. It took quite a while with a good few of us on here to prep the surface, but the minutes have just been out and thankfully all good. You really do worry. It's a huge responsibility that's done by these Marshals to make sure that the track is as safe as it can be for the next group of cars out. So the minutes did go out. We had the change of surface flag out for the first couple of laps. They certainly knew where it was. It's quite obvious by the cement dust. So there we go. First few races, first experiences. With the second race for the Sigma 150s underway, I could see the cloud was building. It looked like a shower was on its way. I was right. Changing conditions mid-race is a real challenge. The dry setup is quite different to the wet setup, with the car running on stiff anti-roll bars both front and back for the dry and removed altogether for the wet, as well as different tyre pressures. When rain starts to come down, sometimes it can look worse on your visor than the reality of the water on the track. You need to try to maintain the pace in order to keep the temperature in the tyres and in turn the right pressure. However, it was evident that the rain soon started to affect the levels of grip offered up by the track. Very tricky conditions and well driven by the grads. There was a great range of different racing on the day, from the incredible supercars right through to brick car and everything in between. I was particularly impressed by the junior saloon cars who raced in Citroën Saxos. The closeness and quality of their racing has to be commended, and it's so good to see full grids of young drivers. Then, during the second of the Sigma 135 Sigmax races, another unusual incident. One of the cars lost a wheel. The wheel continued to travel for some distance right across the infield and in front of the oncoming cars exiting the other side of the Nelson corner, heading down to the bomb hole. The pack done really well to spot and avoid the wheel. I think it passed directly in front of Stu Hatzel before coming to a rest on the far barrier. I've seen wheels fly off because they haven't been correctly tightened before, but this was most certainly not the case here. The hub had failed. In fact, when the wheel was recovered, the hub was still attached with all 4 bolts in place. The session was able to continue as the driver had done a brilliant job to control the car on 3 wheels and park it in a safe place close to the barrier. This resulted in a full lift of the car at the end of the session. On behalf of all of the drivers and the Caterham Graduates Racing Club, we would like to thank every member of the Orange Army, and quite simply, we would be unable to race without them. As drivers, we are usually in the car for just 20 or 30 minutes at a time. The Marshals are on track for the whole day, and believe me, it's a long day in all winds and weathers. We love seeing the Marshals waving and cheering at the end of every race and enjoy showing our appreciation by waving and tooting back. The Caterham Graduates Racing Club supports the Marshals Fund each year as part of the club's charity initiative. In fact, with just 2 races complete from this year's calendar, the club has already raised over £1,000. Later in the season, the Caterham Graduates Racing Club will dedicate one of its events specifically to raise money for the Marshals Fund and to collect further donations. Orange Army, we thank you.
Wow, and what an incredible day that's been. Can I say, if anybody's thinking about volunteering, at the moment, that might be a little bit tricky to do because of certain COVID restrictions. Usually the Marshals would have a taster day. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put a link in the description below. So click on the link, and as and when things change as well, I'll make sure the description continues to remain up to date. If you're at all interested, do it. It is one hell of an experience. For drivers, in my view, definitely do it. If you love motorsport, then go ahead. You will have a very interesting day, and it might become something more. In terms of the day, these Marshals worked so hard to allow us to go in and do our racing. I signed on at 7:30, got to the post before 8, and it's now 6:30. We did not even take a lunch, didn't take a break. It was a sandwich literally in between the races, not a moment, honestly. So it's not for me, that's what these people do, weekend in, weekend out, for us to go racing. So thank you so much, genuinely. In terms of the day, we had a bit of everything. We had the oil spill, which led to several car incidents. We had a full lift of a car that lost a wheel, a few other bits and pieces, but not one safety car all day long. So, you know, that was real something. So anyway, from Snetterton, what a weekend it's been. Thank you to everybody that's made this possible. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please do go ahead, subscribe to the channel. There's going to be lots more different content available. Give the video a thumbs up. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.